One eye shrinking because of this light.
Our eyes are shrinking. Hello.
Hi.
We're live.
Yay! Another Monday with you guys.
Another Monday. It's a full moon.
Yay!
It's a full moon. And interestingly enough, we planned to talk about the divine feminine weeks ago.
Yes.
Who knew? Who knew would fall on the full moon? And why is that? Like, how is that synchronistic for those of you who are maybe just tapping into the feminine energy and the divine feminine? The moon is very much symbolic and attuned to the divine feminine. So
controls water,
yeah,
flows.
it's just La Luna. It's perfect.
La Luna hermosa.
So thanks for joining us tonight, and I hope that you're having a great start to your week, and I hope that you are, soaking in the expansive energy right now of life, of the energy that is happening right now, of this powerful full moon. Definitely set some intention tonight. If you have some moments of quiet time to set an intention to honor the full moon that we have here and the energy that she has to offer. It's really great time to set intention for what you want to manifest or create or tap into over the next month before the next full moon. And definitely take some time out for that today. So we're diving into the divine feminine. And I posted a question on my Facebook page asking you all what the divine feminine means to you. And some of you responded, and I loved some of these answers. So we had that there's an upwelling of the healing energy of the divine feminine, where patriarchy, that is holding patriarchy with the arms of unconditional love. So James was talking about the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine happening right now, and that patriarchy is healing and these two energies are coming together to be more balanced. So I thought that was a really good insightful perception of the balance of what's happening with these two energies, with the divine and masculine. Leia had talked about reading the Vinci Code, and now I haven't read that book. I have seen the movies, but I haven't read the book. I've heard reading the books are really good, but she said that it talks a lot about the conspiracy of Christianity, of religion, and how it created this imbalance towards toxic masculinity. And that's very much true. So we're going to talk a little bit about the imbalance of the divine feminine energy. And then Ashley mentioned that for her, the divine feminine means the energy of love and creation. And I feel like that is a pretty good umbrellaed view of what the divine feminine is. It's very much about creation, creativity, and so many other things.
So many.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
So we want to dive into
Well, first of all, for those who, like, I'm not new, but I've been exploring what it is, to connect with feminine and masculine energy. And obviously today we're going to talk about feminine. But like, if you were to ask me, years ago, what feminine energy is, I can really say that to me, feminine will be a person that's a woman, right? That dresses feminine, that acts feminine, that sees herself as a feminine person. But the more I dive into, and the more I do research on it, because I'm really trying to connect more with my feminine energy. So I'm understanding a lot now is, what it really means, that we all, men, women, we all have that men energy and the feminine energy. So if we were to clear and to balance it and to have both balance, oh my God, we will just be the best human beings there is. So I'm like understanding more, what feminine energy is, and is like, what's her name? Ashley, you said?
Yeah,
Ashley. What
Yeah.
she said is love and nature, love and nurture, loving and that support, that flow, that that connection, that letting it be, flowing with everything that life has to bring us, that not the not hustling and not like doing everything like I'm this here, I'm there, and trying to to hustle like a masculine energy will do, right?
Yeah.
So the feminine energy is more at ease, passive, trusting and loving, and understanding that if you flow, you bring everything to yourself.
Yeah.
That if you surrender, everything will happen for you and you don't have to worry about making things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite a few myths.
A lot, yeah.
When it comes to the divine feminine. And one of the things is that, it's only for women, like it's just about women, but how men and women, we all carry both masculine and feminine energy. So one of the myths or misconceptions about the divine feminine is that it's only related to women, or that it's gendered. And it's not about gender, it's about an energy and how that energy services and works in the world and how it connects to us. And so let's talk a little bit about the divine feminine and the characteristics or qualities of this kind of energy. And you mentioned some of them, which is connection, deep understanding, intuition. Hi, Eve. Hi, Susie. Hi, Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Thanks so much, Taylor. we are just trying to put as many powerful messages that connect you guys and us heart to heart. So the creativity, inspiration, nurturing and nourishment. It's about community,
connection.
Yes. Wisdom, insight, intuition is very deep. Again, it's a full moon. It's very much connected to the moon.
It's about emotions.
Emotions.
What I was learning, because I'm new, so I'm not an expert, but I'm learning.
Yes.
So what I learned today actually is that feminine energy is as much love as it is, as also it is a destroyer. It destroys anything negative that we as the flesh, the human self, doesn't see. So when what I learned today is like when you're connecting with your feminine energy and you're in a space where let's say you're meditating or you're doing things like to connect, right? The feminine energy tells you, which is your intuition, it tells you, get out of that relationship, get out of that job, or don't do this, or don't do that, and it's
or
like
do this or do that.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
It's that power of resonance.
But it's like the power as love, as it is as powerful as to destroy what doesn't work for us.
Right. What's not true.
With the true. It's true, and it likes honesty. It likes everything clear. It doesn't like it can feel everything that's negative for you, for us, right? So that's what I learned today. So as much as it's a lover, it is also a destroyer, because it doesn't want anything bad for us.
Yeah. It's the alchemist and the healer, right? And it's because the divine feminine is all about that heart-centered energy. It is about, it's all heart. And if we think about what aligns with the heart, that is, that first and foremost, it's love. And how, like, love expressed is always truth. That's what love really is. It's the true nature, the true state, the true quality. And because of that truth is why it's there to dismantle or to neutralize, anything that's toxic, anything that is rooted in negativity that's getting in the way of your light, your connection, your ability to thrive, to be radiant. It's about restoration. It's the foundational to life, and seeks for deep understanding, mutual understanding. It's reciprocity, and it's not about conformity. And so often we talk about or look at feminine energy as, this subdued, passive state. And it's not about it being about conformity or that it's weak. It's very powerful, but it is calm and balanced in its presence. It's a quiet strength. It's a powerful presence that's just filled with deep wisdom and knowledge and connection. So it's not about conformity at all. It's very much about inclusion. It's very much about uniqueness. And that's something we don't think about. Like, when we think about the feminine, there's all these ways or constructs that we've put on top of what it is to be aligned to the feminine. And it's like, throw all of that stuff out. And it's actually like, how do you get down to like the true values and principle of that energy, and how you live and express that energy uniquely as you is what draws us towards unity. Because unity is about embracing differences, not sameness. So it's incredibly inclusive in its presence. And I would say too that, as a Black woman or as women of color, oftentimes the conversation about the divine feminine or the representation of the divine feminine is racialized in many ways. It doesn't look very inclusive, or it's described with qualities that don't feel very inclusive. And so there's a constant battle with this idea of, feminine energy being soft and fair, and a lot of stigmas that come from, being a woman from different cultures and different backgrounds. And it's these blanketed ways that we term femininity that really leave people out, and it's not supposed to. It's incredibly inclusive. It's unique to you and how you express these different qualities of the divine feminine.
Yeah, the divine feminine also flows with changes in life. It doesn't get stuck because it trusts in a higher way, where you trust every change because everything happens for you, not to you. So it just flows with the rhythm of life. It flows with everything that we go through in life. So that's the feminine energy. It's not like possessive. It's not like controlling. It's not like trying to.
Doesn't manipulate.
It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It actually, what really, really does is it makes you go within, so you can connect with the feelings and the emotions that are coming up. So it makes you sit with the emotions. It makes you understand the emotions. It helps you
and express the emotions.
So that's what feminine energy is. It's very flowing. It's very flexible. It's very it sees everything with love. It seeks love. It seeks beauty, and it sees beauty. And feminine energy sees you. So, like it will love you. So your feminine energy just will love yourself as how you are, how you look, everything about you. That's the feminine energy, right? Is very very, how do you say that word, very it knows who you are.
Yeah.
So
I think what's interesting too is that because we have all of these stigmas or these constructs around what it is to be feminine, right? Like that's rooted to beauty or body or our hair or makeup or even colors like pink and purple and like all these different like material kind of things, that it's interesting because the true nature of the divine feminine is about healing. It's a huge healer. And how on earth can we have true healing if we are living in a world that puts these constructs or these containers on femininity about like how you look or how you're expressed or how you talk or how you speak? Like when I think about the divine feminine, I really think of it as the heart of leadership. You know, like it is a powerful energy that creates and shapes change and transformation, as it pulls people in, as it draws towards unity, as it draws towards healing and repair and restoration, that it is the heart of what it takes to build and create something new. It's the creative energy. So I just find it interesting that we diminish, you know, feminine energy like through these different lenses that are so limiting, incredibly limiting. And we don't hear enough about how the feminine is really about what it is to have courage, what it is to be brave. Because to be vulnerable, to be emotional, to share heart, to be connected to heart, to love, like my God, to love is like that takes some huge courage to love people, right? Because it's like you extend yourself out knowing there's a risk, right? But it's always worth the risk. Eve says she is an embodiment of divine. Oh, Jacinta, yes, the Minister of New Zealand. I don't know if I said her name right, but you think she's the embodiment of the divine feminine to you. Her leadership is amazing. Yeah, she's a really great example of what it looks like to be in the power of femininity. That's another thing too, like I think about when it comes to leadership, is that when we think about masculine energy, like so often people are like, this assertive, courage, dynamic, direct sort of energy, and aligning that with masculinity. And that is not what that is.
But that's how a lot of people see it, though.
That is how they see
it. When you say masculine, it already in your mind is like strong, like controlling, yes, like taking over, like, you know, it's there to just succeed in. Is the CEO of whatever, is right. This, is that the title? That's that all patriarchy. Is so this is why feminine energy has been like suppressed for so many years, because really feminine is weak, right? That's what they will compare it to. It's like having that feminine energy is just being a weak person, when it's not. It's not really. It's feminine energy, if anything, is what is a foundation of everything to build, to grow, and to be. You know, so if we have the both together and balance, my God, yeah, so beautiful world.
Yes. And the misconception of it as being like having less power, or that masculine energy is more powerful, or like no there's no hierarchy of these energies. It's simply about how they dance together that creates really balance and unity. And femininity is not about powerlessness at all. It's very much about having a foundation of real power and real strength. Yeah. And that I always find the most power and strength to come, like, that's what it is to live in your heart. To live in your heart in the world is to walk through life with more sovereignty, with more freedom, with an openness to life, an openness to others, an ability to unite, right, and connect. That is a huge, immense power. And that's why right now it feels like in the world, we're talking about the rise of the feminine, like feminine, like there's a lot of feminist terminology that gets thrown around, and, heated discussions that happen. And it's like, could we be as inclusive as possible and understanding that this energy lives in all of us, and that the rise of the feminine isn't just about the rise of women, although it is about balance, where we're living in a patriarchal world that needs to shift to one of more balance between men and women. It's like, really, it's about how all of us tap in and attune to our emotional connection, the heart of leadership, our ability to unite and coalesce with one another. It's an incredibly powerful energy that we all should tap in and attune to.
Yeah. So yeah, it's healing, is soothing, it's love, peace, everything.
Yes.
Everything that can just be, like we said, the foundation for something to just be, right, and just carry on. Like when we're pregnant, right, when we're pregnant, that's that feminine energy. It fits you, it holds you, it takes care of you, it's there to nurture you, to love you, to make you feel protected, safe, secure. It's there to make you feel like there is nothing to worry about, because everything is just gonna be fine, because feminine energy draws everything to you. It makes everything happen, right? That's feminine energy. Is that the trusting,
And where we learn, like in where we learn, like, our first role model of what the divine feminine is our mothers.
our mothers, yeah.
And so much of coming into balance with the divine feminine, is to look at the ways of which we were modeled, right? Femininity, or modeled a more toxic nature of what it is to be feminine, right? That's like not balanced. Or I know that our parents grew up in a time that was much different than our time today. And so I just know, for me, I'm way more liberated, both sexually, both in my power, both in my ability to show up in my life with more sovereignty and more autonomy in ways that my mom didn't have. And so there are a lot of messages that I learned growing up on that kind of stripped me from understanding what it would be to be in the power of my feminine energy, or my sensuality, or my sexuality, because of the messages that I learned growing up. And so many of us as women, we learned concepts and language and beliefs that held us back from the power of those things, where we either might overcompensate in ways, right, with leading with maybe hypersexuality, I could say, or where we don't have like good self-esteem or self-worth about ourselves, or we might repress our sexuality, or repress our sensual nature, repress our truth, repress our emotions, all that stuff. And so a really good way of working with the feminine is to also explore, the roots of your belief systems around what it is to be a woman, your own womanhood, and the models that you had in your life, right, that taught you about what it meant to be in the power of as a woman. Like, were you allowed this space to speak your truth? Were you celebrated to do that? Or, were you taught to be subservient? Did you come up, like learning certain modeling, right? All of that stuff's really important to explore, in order to connect with and build a stronger relationship with the divine feminine.
Yeah. Like for me, I know that I was brought up with a lot of masculine energy. Reason being is because I was raised by a single mother, which she had to cope in ways that obviously she didn't have the knowledge that we do now, to show her kids, what it is to balance or not to make them responsible of things that they shouldn't. But at the time, or being in a country where you don't speak the language or where you don't have any family, right? The only thing that she was able to do was to um, put a lot of responsibilities on me and my sister, right? So because we were the oldest, the older one, so a lot of masculine being, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to take care of this, you have to take care of that, I have to do this and I have to do that. My mom was always a protector. She was always working and making it happen for the four of us, which we are 4 kids. And I have a lot of those traits, right, that I learned from her. It's like, I'm independent. I don't need nothing. I don't need anyone. I can do it on my own.
Right.
I can do it by myself. No.
Those heart walls,
no.
Man.
All this, no, I can do it. I've been doing it all these years. So, but it's learning about the balance, the balance that it's okay to be taken care of. It's okay to receive. It's okay to let things happen for you. It's okay to just put your guard down for a little.
Yes.
And just trust and let things come in for you.
Surrender.
Don't surrender. Exactly. That's what we're talking about, is surrendering and not controlling and trying to make everything happen, which is something I'm learning. And I'm still learning, is that not make everything happen, because I'm the oldest and I'm always taking care of, always took care of my 2 little brothers. So it's hard for me to just not be the provider. It's hard for me to not
be in control
of all the things, from
Yeah.
the house and everything else. So
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot where it is to really connect with my feminine energy, right? Because
and to allow ourselves the capacity to be both the supporter, the driver, right, of all these things in the power of our femininity, right? Like, how can we lead and direct in our lives, right, in the full connection to our love, our heart, our ability to stay open? Like, hyper independence is a huge, I find this to be a huge toxic trait of toxic femininity, is this hyper
controlling. It's the hyper controlling. It is toxic.
Yes.
But when you learn and you see that you have that trait, I mean, we can all come back to our
hyper independence.
To our power of connecting with our feminine side, right?
And it's like, can we allow ourselves our autonomy and independence, as well as to be open, to ask for support, to lean on community, to build and forge relationships and friendships, right? And that's also a huge driver in our ability to be open in relationship with people, right? Like, when we as women, out there, men and women who are looking for, relationship, all of that is so much about being connected to your heart. How do you open your heart? How do you walk through life with an openness? All of that you tap into the divine, feminine energy. And so you can be, have your independence, but also how are you building towards interdependence with others? How are you allowing yourself to also walk with that openness? So it's a dance, it's a dance, and it's looking at all the ways that we get caught up, right, in these limitations around how we think we're supposed to be or how we're supposed to be expressed, and to recognize that the expression of the divine energy is really unique to you. You know, it's how are you allowing yourself to open and thrive in your life? How are you bridging and forging connections and community? How are you cultivating and creating in your life and in the world? How are you nourishing and nurturing yourself and others, right? Like, this is all the divine energy. And that also I could talk, what, go ahead. Well, I could also talk about, you know, like as a queer person, when we talk about these terms like masculine and feminine, they have this very heteronormative viewpoint, and it's not, these are not gender roles.
It's not gender.
These are energies. You know, this is about how we play with polarity, how we play with duality, right? And how these two energies dance and exchange between one another, right? And so it's really important, again, to not be looking at these qualities as this gendered role or this gendered format. Is truly about an energetic and an expression, and how we align and express in alignment with these values. It's deeply about integrity, the divine feminine. It's what's in integrity. It's what's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So the more we connect to it, it will be so beneficial for our lives, right? Especially like me being a feminine girl. And to have my masculine and my feminine balance.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm working on right now. It's like connect to my feminine energy and finding ways of connecting to her, you know. And one beautiful way I find always is nature, you know, Mother Nature, Gaia.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't. I mean, we go hiking, but we don't hike just to hike. No, when we're walking, we're connecting. When we're walking, we're talking. We're meditating. I mean, we can lay there on a rock for like hours. And just see the beauty of Mother Nature. Just see the beauty of Gaia.
Yeah.
And you know, it just brings me so much love, so much. I don't know, and I just send love back to her because I can feel her love, right?
Yeah.
So that's a way to connect with my feminine energy, you know, is finding ways of what for me, we all have different ways of connecting with your feminine energy, but for me it's a lot Mother Nature. Meditations with Mother Nature, you know, songs that connect you with Mother Nature, dances that connect you with Mother Nature, or being in the open with her. It's just it's just amazing. It's just, to me, it's all the love that I need. It's right there.
Yeah, and it's the ways that connect you to that love that is unconditional. Yeah, Eve, like kids, being around animals, right? It's like these different these things that we can connect to heart, right? Like, that's where the nourishment comes. That's when we really get to feel and understand like the power of that love and that nurturing and that nourishment. Even if we haven't, it's so interesting, even if you haven't received like that nurturing, nourishing, divine feminine care, you know, like if you weren't modeled that, there's still an ability to connect, to know and to understand what that energy is, because it's about the heart. And that is what we all have. Like, we all have this huge, powerful heart center, you know, with us, that if you just find the things, get around the environments, get around the people and the things that connect you to that space, that's really how we draw on and connect to that energy.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. I was listening to Christina Lopes. Is it Lopes?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So she says that.
Check out her YouTube channel.
Yeah,
She's
Christina
great.
Lopes is amazing.
We love her.
Yeah. So she was saying that a way to connect is Kundalini meditation,
Ooh.
where is with drums. And the reason we connected is because the heartbeat, right? Like she was saying, the heartbeat and the drums is like boom, 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 boom. Your heart. So you're connecting to that, and that is connecting to your feminine energy. So when we do these Kundalini meditations with drumming, it helps you connect to your heart and back to your feminine energy. So that's something that I'm gonna explore, and because I love dancing. I just anything.
Remember
that's
when we went to
movement.
that drum circle like years ago? It closed down. It was so great though. I used to love going to this drum circle.
Yeah, it's and the shamanic. Am I saying it right?
Shamanic.
Shamanic energy. It's actually shamanic energy drumming meditation is what it's called.
Oh, so Google that.
So Google
or YouTube that.
YouTube
search
yeah.
that.
So that's what it is. And the shamanic energy drumming meditation connects to your heart, and then your heart to your feminine energy. And what she was saying also is that what she does at night is at her house, she turns all the lights off, then she puts candles, and then she walks around her house with the lights off, because we as feminine energy, we can see, we can feel, we can connect, we can, really pretty much connect to your body and your senses. So it's pretty much like going, and then if you put that, it's like just going with the role, just going with the, I don't know, with the experience, whatever experience you feel at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. It's what she does.
Yeah.
So I love that. I really love that, because I'm a person that I'm all about movement.
Yeah.
I'm all about moving my body and expressing myself in my feminine way of dancing, and being the Latina that I am. It's all this sensual and this giving and this just connecting with any dances that there is. It's to me, it's just amazing and beautiful to connect that way with my feminine energy.
Yeah. And one, so a couple more things that I would like to talk about is, going back to this part about truth, being in the power of your voice, right? I like to think of the divine feminine as the advocate, right? She's the advocate. This energy is there to speak truth into the space. And that truth can sometimes be uncomfortable, right? And so that's why, as women, oftentimes our voices can be suppressed, because we are bringing a truth into a space that has been limited with certain ideas or beliefs. And it's really important to continue to advocate for yourselves and for others, to be that voice of truth, to be empowered in your voice, to speak up and speak out for things that are not in alignment and not in integrity. It's I think one of the biggest powerful sources of the divine energy is in our ability to speak truth into spaces. And then also to think about the ways that, when we often hear like masculine energy being this dominant power over, but feminine energy can also, in its on the shadow curve, right? What is not, that's imbalanced, feminine energy can also use power over, and that can be through, like, again, we talked about like manipulation or seduction, right? In order to feel powerful in yourself. And the reason why that is something to be mindful of is that whenever we have an agenda or we're taking actions that are coming from the place of power over, is actually at the heart of that, or at the root of that, is this feeling of lack, of not being worthy, which is completely out of integrity. Like, feminine divine energy has no need for power over. It is about coalescing, uniting, and coming together. And so in its imbalanced form, right, these manipulative, tactics are come from a place of not being aligned to your divine feminine. So if you are a woman out there who has a mistrust of other women, right, or you lack connections to women because there's some sort of belief that you have about that's limiting you from connecting to other women, like that is a huge revealer of an imbalanced state of being connected to your divine feminine. Because again, this energy is there to nourish, to nurture, to connect, to be open, to restore, to heal. It's to advocate. So it's something to think about, the ways that we walk in our feminine divine energy, both men and women, in a way that is true and in integrity with who we are.
Yeah, and that's because the only way to connect with feminine energy is by being all those things, right? By really surrendering to all that feminine energy is. The love, the compassion, the understanding, that trusting, the letting it be, the flowing, the magnetic calling into us of things that can be possible and that can happen for us, right? That connection with the higher self, the sitting with our emotions, that meditation, and being being and letting that part of us, which is our higher self, to connect with God and let God in, right? We can do all that because we are love. We are just love. So love is, it's just we will let everything happen. Right? As the more we connect with that energy in our lives and for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah, Eve, thanks. Yeah. Let's definitely catch it on the replay. Share this with your friends that if any part of this message, like, oh, so and so needs to hear this, share this with them. All of us could benefit, right, from connecting deeper to this energy, especially on a day like today with the full moon.
Yeah, and for a lot of people that don't know that we all have that energy, masculine and feminine,
men and women,
and a lot of women don't know that, a lot of men don't know that. So when you like the understanding about how connected are you with your feminine energy, and this is for men. Some men is like, I'm not a woman, I don't need to connect with that part of myself. Like, what are you telling me?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do, because by connecting with that, you will be able to have a better relationship with women.
Yes.
A better relationship with your mom, a better relationship with your daughter, a better relationship with your coworkers.
Yep.
A better relationship with whoever you are
ability
around.
To be successful and powerful in the world. Truly.
And it's really here, right? It's really here. And like Eve was saying, the connection with kids, and that's something that it's helping me too a lot, is because I often say I have my two babies, my grandbabies, which I come back to that nurturing, loving mother that I sometimes forget because my son is big now and I don't see him enough because he works too much.
I just love though whenever I see like honestly, Disney, you are like such a great example. I feel really blessed to have a lot of friends who are just really great parents, but I just feel like the connection that you have with your grandchildren and your son, you just model like the care of that like loving, nurturing, mothering energy that is like so present. And so open and just very honoring. So
thank you for acknowledging that. But I wouldn't be all those things if I wouldn't be doing the work for myself, in my inner self, you know, because I wasn't like that with my son, growing up. I wish I could have all this knowledge that I have now for my kid, at that time. But it's never too late.
Never too late.
It's never too late. My
Never
son is
too late.
23 and
Yeah.
I don't care, and he knows this. I will baby him until
Put
he's
them right in her
50
lap.
years old. Oh yeah, I do.
It's so
I put him
cute
on
too.
my laps and I'm like,
It's so cute.
and the beautiful
loves
thing is
it.
that he lets me.
He loves it.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's my only son and my only baby. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm blessed really to have all this knowledge now, because I can give it to my babies, my grandbabies. You know, I always say my babies because I'm taking ownership. But it's never too late. So
yeah.
Oh my God. So I really encourage all of you, men and women, to start exploring what it is to
Get in touch with your emotions.
Yeah, connect with your feminine energy, this love inside of us, this trust inside of us, this not worry inside of us that just trusts.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's fine. We don't have to hustle. We don't have to make it happen. We don't have to control. Yeah. So yeah, I really encourage you to do that. And oh my God, I can wait until it's a little colder so we can fire pit and be under the stars and the moon.
Yes.
And
we'll do an event for those of you who want to join us around the fire. Do a ceremony.
We do ceremonies. We do the letting go ceremonies. We do different things.
Yeah.
To connect back to you.
Mm-hmm. And Gaia.
Yeah. Oh my God, that word just
goddess.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Next, we'll talk about the divine masculine energy.
Woo-hoo.
And the myths and misunderstandings and the beauty of that energy as well. So join us next week.
Mm-hmm.
Have a great rest of your week, everyone.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for
your love and
coming
support.
To the space.
Yes. And we look forward to sharing the space with you again.
Bye.